In 1997, Apple was close to collapse. The company had lost over $1 billion in a single year. Its product lineup was so confusing that even employees struggled to explain it. Analysts believed Apple might not survive. That year, a man who had once been fired from Apple returned to lead it again. The man was Steve Jobs. He walked into a leadership meeting, studied the situation, and made a brutally honest observation. Apple had lost its identity. Then he walked to a whiteboard, drew four boxes, and began eliminating most of Apple's products. The crisis at Apple was not just financial, it was a strategic confusion. Apple had more than 15 product families, dozens of computer models, unclear market positioning. Customers were confused, retailers were confused, even Apple's own teams were confused. This is a classic strategic problem. When companies grow, they often expand in too many directions. Instead of becoming stronger, they become blurred. Steve Jobs took three critical decisions which remade Apple. The decision 1: restore the focus. Jobs simplified Apple's entire strategy into a 2 into 2 grid: consumer versus professional, desktop versus portable. This created four product categories: iMac, Power Mac, iBook, and PowerBook. Everything else disappeared. Nearly 70% of Apple's products were cancelled. This had an immediate impact. Engineering teams focused their efforts, marketing messaging became simple, and in 1998, Apple launched the iMac. The result was dramatic. Close to 300,000 units sold in first 6 weeks. More than 800,000 units sold in first 5 months. Apple returned to profitability. The decision to stabilize the ecosystem. Jobs understood something which other leaders miss. Even the best product cannot succeed if the ecosystem collapses. At that time, businesses relied heavily on Microsoft Office. Without it, Apple computers would be almost useless in offices and universities. So Jobs made a decision that shocked everyone. He partnered with Apple's biggest rival, Microsoft. In 1997, Microsoft invested $150 million in Apple. More importantly, Microsoft committed to continuing Microsoft Office for Mac. When Jobs announced this partnership at Macworld, the audience actually booed. But Jobs understood something fundamental. Technology companies do not compete on isolated products. They compete as ecosystems of hardware, software, and developers. The Microsoft deal ensured Apple remained part of that ecosystem. It restored confidence among developers, businesses, and investors. The decision 3: control the customer experience. The third decision was about something deeper. Jobs believed Apple needed to control how customers experienced its products. Most computer companies sold through electronic retailers. In those stores, Apple computers sat beside dozens of competing machines. The brand experience was diluted. So Apple did something radical. It launched its own retail stores. The first Apple store was opened in 2001. Many analysts predicted failure, but Jobs designed the stores differently. They were not traditional retail spaces, they were experience centers. Customers could touch products, explore software, and receive help at the store. Today, Apple stores generate over $6,000 revenue per square feet, which is among the highest in global retail. Jobs didn't stop there. He also changed Apple internally. He brought the culture reset. He believed companies decline when product vision disappears. In many organizations, product creators gradually lose influence to sales and marketing executives. Jobs reversed that. Apple became a product led company again. Design and engineering drove decisions. The management view on this case study is these three decisions transformed Apple. Focus on the strategy, secure the ecosystem, and control the customer experience. Within a decade, Apple launched products that changed entire industries: iPod, iPhone, and iPad. And Apple became one of the most valuable companies in history. Sometimes strategy does not begin with building something new. Sometimes it begins with a simpler question: what should we stop doing? What do you feel about this video? Do share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.